Hello and welcome to the OK Takes podcast. I am Matt, and as always, I'm joined by my fellow capo, Edward. As of 8:45 p.m. West Coast time, the Dodgers have notched yet another 100-win season. So we will celebrate that by making fun of the Padres failing miserably this season. We'll actually do a early version of Thanksgiving where we're going to talk about all the things we're thankful for from this season. And then we're going to pivot the conversation towards all things related to the wild card game. And we're going to talk a little bit of Cardinals, shit show on Saturday, all good things. So first, we're going to celebrate 100 wins. So I have my list compiled. I want to hear yours. Let's name some things, positive vibes. Let's get the positive vibes going. What are some of the things you've been thankful for from this season?
Well, I'm thankful for the obvious one, the Trey Turner Max Scherzer trade. I'm thankful for pre-All-Star Chris Taylor, All-Star game Chris Taylor. I'm thankful for 300 win seasons in 5 years. I'm thankful for the Padres being 29-35 since June 24th. And I'm thankful for Kenley Jansen. Kind of wanted to throw a little bit of a hot take in there. Just got his 35th save. If it wasn't for one bad week, he would probably be the best closer in baseball this year. So I'm thankful for Kenley, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had that on my list. So let's start there. It's never a bad time to be nice to Kenley, unless you're on Twitter. Dude, it's insane to me how good Kenley has been and how much everybody hates him.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. I guess closers aren't allowed to have bad stretches.
3 games in that total. So he blew a save to the Rockies, the Giants, and the Giants again. So back-to-back days, gave up 8 earned runs during that 3-game stretch. Since then, he's given up half as many.
He's just been locked down. I don't want anyone else on the mound in a win or go home situation in the ninth. He's been money. And it's a shame that fans have overreacted to, like you said, and I understand the games against the Giants are important, but 3 games out of a whole season is not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And that's the problem, is that it hit a really bad time of the season where I think there's just at that time, it was a buildup of a lot of frustration from realizing that we probably won't win the division this year. And I think it was just kind of the perfect storm that accumulated. But that's what just pisses me off the most, is that the ability to hold this grudge and then not say anything nice when things do go well.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when he does well, it's somebody else did the right thing. But then when he does bad, it all falls on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just crickets. A save, crickets, one earned run in against the Giants, and then boom, mayhem, riots, chaos.
Yeah. And I mean, one thing I've noticed about Kenley, and I don't know if you've noticed this, he's good to allow at least one base runner per outing. And it used to worry me, but now I'm like, okay, this is just what he does. It's when he starts to allow 2 base runners, maybe, he gives up a run. We still have the lead, but now there's, 2 guys on 3 base runners is when I'm like, okay, he doesn't have it tonight. But he's usually good for 1 hit, maybe with an out or 2 already, or he walks a guy. So now that I've been able to accept that, I'm not stressed anytime.
Mm-hmm. He has a little bit of Jameis Winston in him. He's a little clumsy. Yeah. Today he dropped the ball. So it's just a little bit of Jameis. There's nothing wrong with that.
Still eats the W.
Yeah, exactly. And he's literally blown as many, or has the same blown save rate as Mark Melancon. Many people have him as the best in the game. So what else do you want? It's just, it pisses me off. So I'm going to start listing off my Thanksgiving day early for the Dodgers. So just giving thanks. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do everything nice, because things are probably going to get ugly. Might get ugly. Hope not. But let's just be nice. Let's give some thanks. So I will celebrate Justin Turner was an excellent signing. There's a chance he wouldn't be on the team. That was just boom, perfect. Like we already mentioned, Kenley's been awesome after the Garbo week in July, and our Pujols revival. We had a wonderful moment of the home run against the Angels that he had, a little bit of revenge, ding dong. Then we had his home run at Busch Stadium. And then we also had that I didn't write down, but I'm thinking of right now, the home run against Josh Reddick. So Pujols has been an absolute delight.
Yeah, man. Who doesn't love Tio Albert? The Tio hugs, after a home run, you get to go hug Albert Pujols. Are you kidding me? It's just awesome vibes, man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So let's shift towards actually, yeah, speaking of the opposite of or awesome vibes for us, awful vibes for the Padres. So the Padres are miserable. That's miserable. I don't know how much worse a team could be with such high expectations. Like there's always going to be one team that is not going to come close to the projections that came out before the season, projections in April, and the Padres raised their hand and said, "May I please be that team?" And the MLB gods were like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead."
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you caught this thread, but John Boy Media posted on Twitter, is the Padres failing to make the postseason? Like, does this make them one of the most disappointing teams in MLB history? And I went to read some of the replies, and a lot of people were saying, like, really, MLB history, come on, like what are we doing here? And I'm like, no, they have a point. How many analysts picked the Padres to beat the Dodgers in the division this season? A lot. Not one picked the Giants. A lot of teams said this is the year the Padres established dominance in the NL West. They've made all these trades for starting pitchers. Tatis is the golden child. Machado is, a good veteran guy. They've got power, good offense. And here we are, and they are 78-78.
Mm-hmm. And that's what makes it, see, it's not a collapse. Like for big collapse that comes to mind is always the Red Sox in 2012, 2013. They were blew like an 12 game lead in the last month of the season. And it all came down to a wild, like the Baltimore Orioles walking off on them in Camden Yards. So yeah, that's like a huge collapse. We're talking about preseason. What were they supposed to look like? Well, this was supposed to be a World Series team. There has been, I mean, Bleacher Report, everybody, even like ESPN, I can't, like the amount of times that they just said that this would be it. This would be the year because, oh my God, the left side of the infield. Oh, nobody has ever done what they're doing before. Oh my God. I mean, because we have the perfect, talk about perfect storm, just a perfect storm of chaos with the Padres. Oh, it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. I
It's
actually, even
awesome.
though, yeah, also, it doesn't really change anything for the Dodgers.
I mean, all it does is just it gets rid of those Slam Diego Love guys for an off season for a little bit longer. Those guys who made
Oh
that
my,
video
yes.
about like when the postseason started and they said last year they were going to beat the Dodgers in the NLDS and then they got swept. And then they started at the beginning of this year and they made the rap diss track of how they were going to win the NL West. Now they're not even going to make the playoffs.
Hmm. To be honest, I was kind of on their side. I respect the move.
Look, I'm sure they had a lot of fun shooting
Yeah.
that. Like, I'm sure it was a blast. Like, I can respect it. It just is so funny that this is how it ended up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dude, they said we're gonna go for it, and I appreciate that. No, like there was nothing that they didn't like. No rock was unturned. Every single part of the video, they just hit it. They did their thing. They executed, and well, it didn't turn out that well, but it was funny. Like I don't know what else people expect from a troll on Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Like I agree. I think it was quite funny.
Mhm. Yeah. But I mean, now that we're looking back at this, we're looking back at the season 2021. It's pretty much in hindsight. I mean, now there's only 7 games left, but it's chaos for them, especially like within the organization that kind of gets lost amidst all the blah blah on Twitter and people saying ratio, like that Twitter crowd, because it's not good right now. So, just taking from the Athletic, or excuse me, this is from Jace Tingler. Um, So the Padres, fumbled that. Okay, so it's ath- article about the Padres and the Athletics. So the Padres this week reassigned their scouting director, fired several amateur scouts, and dismissed their farm director. Now, the acquisitions at the trade deadline didn't work out as well. They picked up Daniel Hudson from the Nationals, and on the Nationals so far this year, he was really good. He had a 2.2 ERA, and then he hops on to the San Diego Padres ship, and then he posts a 5.29 ERA. Awful. I mean, like that was at least you didn't get Scherzer, but at least you got Hudson. Yeah, that went well. And then Adam Frazier, who was acquired as well, who was like an incredible hitter. He was an all-star. When he was on the Pirates before being traded, he was hitting 324 with a 388 on base percentage. It was looking solid. Super good. Looked like he could win a Silver Slugger. And now on the Padres, he hit 269 with a 330 on base percentage.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've made moves, and those moves, like they went for quantity over quality. The Dodgers went for quality over quantity. Like they kind of lost. Like I feel like their season kind of fell apart when the Scherzer trade for them fell apart. Like that was kind of the moment.
Mm-hmm. Can we get a Ken Rosenthal curse going?
Shout out to him for saying the Padres have acquired or are close to acquiring Max Scherzer in a trade.
Yeah. Oh, now I feel bad because I literally just used the publication he created. But
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, that was it. We got our guys. We rolled with them. It worked out really well. And because now we see Scherzer, incredible. Trey Turner, incredible. Had 3 home runs this weekend at Chase Field. So let's hop off. I mean, so it's fun making fun of the Padres and everything's going on. But like I said before, it doesn't change anything for us. No matter what happens. Well, actually, it is important, but the Padres being bad, honestly, has no impact on the playoffs. Just for I'm talking about like the fodder, like the back and forth, blah, blah, doesn't really make any difference.
No, I mean, I kind of was hoping we would get maybe I think a wild card game between the Dodgers and the Padres would have been fun, but they just weren't good enough.
Nope. All right. So let's start I want to start actual series talk from this past weekend at Chase Field. We took 2 of 3, but the one game we lost was, I think, all of our biggest nightmares coming true in one game.
Yeah. I mean, look, 2 out of 3 against the 50 and 106 Arizona Diamondbacks just cannot happen. It just cannot happen. And, Kershaw wasn't the best in his start. He gave up a few runs over 4 1/3 innings pitched, I believe. The offense dead silent against the Diamondbacks in that game. If it wasn't for, I believe Trey Turner had 2 solo shots in that one loss. Yeah. And then, this is just one of those series that you just have to sweep.
I kind of go back and forth because it's I wouldn't say it's asking a lot to sweep the Diamondbacks, but it's just hard going into all these games being like, well, you have to, or go into these series you have to sweep this one, you have to sweep the next one, and then you're looking at okay, well, you pretty much have to go 15 and 16 if you want to have a chance to keep up with the Giants.
Yeah, but I mean, when it comes to Coors Field, it's we can let one slide because anything can happen in that ballpark. That's one of those places where no game is ever really over. But I just think, but like you said, when we're down this close, it's we really have to go 8-0 or 7-1, and we have to hope the Padres go or the Giants, go 5-2 or 4-3, and we just don't know if that's going to happen.
It's not. I'm gonna make that claim right now. It won't happen.
No, it won't. It won't.
That's why I'm not too pissed off. I just want to so we have 6, I believe 6 games left. Let's just win 4 of 6 again.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's more big picture stuff. But as far as this game went, it was another case of Luis Castillo, where it was Zach Allen looked absolutely unhittable. This like fastball changeup combo he had, no answers.
Yeah,
And,
no answers at
and
all.
like Zach Allen is a guy who was really good a couple years ago, tailed off now. ZRA's in the fours, I believe.
Mhm.
So not somebody that you would, I don't know, not somebody that you think of for big game pitcher that would shut down the Dodgers. But like this is just my biggest fear. What the fuck is going to happen when they eventually will have to face Adam Wainwright?
Yeah, this is one of those situations that everybody keeps saying, like, this is why we need to avoid the wild card game. Anything can happen in one game. You know, a pitcher like Gallen, who's had a good stretches in the past, but right now he's got a 4.37 ERA. What happens when he goes with one game, when he goes 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, only allows 3 hits? Like, what happens then in the wild card game? You know, is there going to be a response? So, you know, it was a disappointing game. And yeah, that's just a fear that Dodger fans have right now. And it's a valid one.
Mm-hmm. Because the offense really wasn't that great all series long. So they, like I mentioned earlier, took 2 of 3, but the total score of the series was 9-9.
Yeah. That's not good enough. Like, I'm going to
It's
sound like
not.
I'm beating a dead horse, but that's not good enough.
But I don't know if this offense will eventually could just put everything together in one game. That's just what I'm scared of, is because there wasn't crazy bursts in course field. Like there was nothing 8 runs or more scored in a single game, even with games that went into the extras. And that's just what I'm afraid of, is that because like earlier today, we had, I believe, 3 solo home runs.
Yeah, 2 from Seager and 1 from Turner today.
It's yeah. Yeah. So Trey's been like just awesome. So that was awesome to see with Trey kind of picking it back up in the power column. But it's just weird. Like I just don't know what to expect, because I look at these home runs. I'm like, man, if only there was guys on bases. But what then when there's guys on bases, Chris Taylor goes incognito.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great. And Gavin Lux has also really been, like, I feel like the lone offensive bright spot for us. Him and Trey Turner, and I guess Seager today, you know, 2 home runs, which was awesome. And him and Trey Turner, they both hit their 200 or 100th career home runs today on the same day, which was a pretty cool stat to see. But yeah, I mean, outside of Trey Turner and honestly Gavin Lux right now, I don't know where the offense is going to come from.
Yeah, Taylor, it's been tough with Chris Taylor. I mean, he hasn't been good this in the second half. I mean, he's 2 different players, like we've been mentioning. But man, I just keep on going back to like, what the hell am I seeing when I look up, when I like make sure that what I see with my eyes backs up on Baseball Reference, where it's like hitting 228, on base percentage 282, total ops 717, versus the first half, which is where he hit 277, on base percentage was 382, literally 100 points higher than this half, and his ops was 0.8 was 834. It's just 2 different guys, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And he has the neck injury. He fell victim to cunnilingus, possibly having a little croak in his neck.
Yeah. Who knows what he does on off days?
Yeah, damn. I've been making too many Curb references. That's the problem. I get hooked on one show, and that's all the references that come out.
Hey, man, season 11 next month.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I mean, while we're on the topic of Curb and LA, Larry was at the Rams game just looking so miserable. That was awesome to see.
I know. I immediately saved that picture and I sent it to my sister and I said, if this is not in a scene in season 11, then I don't want it.
I can appreciate how I love watch. I would rather have Larry being at his mood 0 to 10 at like a 2 all the time than watching Larry be happy, because it's so funny.
That guy's just naturally funny, man. He's just
He's naturally miserable. He was just born to be miserable.
He was. He was.
Yeah. All right. So now, so another topic I want to bring up, and then I want to end on Cardinals. But right now, we were talking about this before the show. If you don't like the way the wild card and the playoffs are set up, just win more games. That's where I'm at with Dodger fans. And it's really starting to piss me off because when we're going through this crazy run that we've been on, 8-9 division titles, and just compiling 100-win season after the next, there's been no problem with the wild card. But as soon as we're negatively benefited, or we're we're in the negative now as far as like missing out after having a big season, then it's problem.
Yeah, I mean, totally. And I fall victim to that, or not fall victim to that. Sorry, I'm guilty of that because I have been a proponent of the format for playoffs in the MLB needs to change a little bit. But I'm not the type of person that has only brought this up now. I have mentioned it in the past to some friends and to people where I'm like, I think they should either expand the playoffs or I don't know. I've never been a fan, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, the Dodgers are in the wild card game, so this isn't fair. Win the wild card game if you don't want to be in it.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say what happened the last time we had the format similar to what it was now in 2019. The Nationals beat the 106-win Dodgers and went on to win the World Series. So it just shows that like you could just run the table. Just run the table. Anything can happen. That's why we watch sports, because we don't know what's going to happen. It's fun. It's unpredictable. Well, yeah, sometimes you're actually going to fall on the bad side of when things are unpredictable, and you might get your feelings hurt. But when you're the team that's on top, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that gamble.
Yeah, man. Just win, baby. Just like the Raiders say, just win, baby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about the format. Don't complain about being in the wild card game as 100-win team. Just win.
It's one game. If I would say, like, for that one game scenario, any sport, NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball, anything, if everything comes down to one game, the better team will prevail.
Yep.
Because that's what you do. Like I just love that idea. And who knows if it's wrong? I don't give a fuck. If it's that one game scenario where one person dies, one person lives on, then yeah, the person who lives on is probably stronger.
Yep.
Doesn't make any sense, but that's just the way that's just where the chips fall.
Yep, absolutely.
So I want to talk about the Cardinals, because this is looking like it's going to be our wild card opponent. Incredible 16-game win streak. They were by far the hottest team in baseball.
Yeah. And I want to ask, do I have a valid reason to be scared of them, or is this just Matt Adams trauma?
Yes. No, it's not Matt Adams trauma. They are legitimately an incredible team who, God damn it, they just got hot at the right time. It's what happens.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, what makes it even scarier is just a couple of weeks ago, we saw Adam Wainwright like kind of shut down our offense. And it just is like, this feels like it's going to be a pitcher's duel wild card game.
Yeah, it's going to be such a good game. But also look at what this sets up. Like, these are some of the greatest pitchers of our childhoods. Like, I will always remember Adam Wainwright. Like, even I remember Adam Wainwright pitching in like second, third grade. Honestly, I remember Scherzer dominating for nearly just as long. So yeah, look what the wild card game sets up. You have Wainwright, who's looking to become a 2-time World Series champion. Same thing with Scherzer, looking to become a 2-time World Series champion. These are some of the best pitchers that we've seen since like the 2010s. I don't know. It's just look at the matchup it sets up.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be quite the storyline, and you throw in the history these two teams have of meeting in the postseason, Cardinals beating us out multiple times, Kershaw kind of getting rocked by them.
Yep.
This is just, the storylines in this wild card game are awesome. And it's going to be quite the sight to see. I wish I could be at Dodger Stadium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's where we're at right now, especially with just the narrative as far as like storylines. Probably the biggest one is like, is this where we finally get the last laugh? And what happened with Kershaw, because without that game against the Cardinals, and I don't remember the stats, but it was like 7-8 earned runs. I would rather not remember and just eyeball it. But that's where you get the Kershaw that's where the Kershaw can't pitch in the postseason narrative really started to pick up steam.
Mhm. It was the Cardinals, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Like, obviously we know what happened in the World Series and the Grand Slam to the was it Soto or whoever hit those back-to-back home runs
Back-to-back from Soto and Adam Eaton.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where that narrative really kind of hit the peak. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. It's like, without that game against the Cardinals, who knows if we have Kershaw can't pitch in the postseason storyline.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm at a point where it's like, am I weird that after seeing Kershaw's success last postseason, pitched incredible against the Brewers, pitched really well against the Padres, pitched in an absolutely clutch situation against the Rays, went 5-2 gutsy innings. I kind of want Kershaw to pitch this game. And I know it can't happen, but could you imagine after winning the World Series last year, getting the monkey off of his back, Clayton Kershaw shuts down the Cardinals. His St. Louis Demons get exercised. He dominates the wild card game. Just imagine. It's never going to happen, but just imagine.
I can't. I don't know how to. You just broke my brain, because I can't force myself. No matter how hard I think, I can never have that pop up.
I mean, I know it's never going to happen. Look, and I'm not advocating for this to happen. Max Scherzer needs to pitch the wild card game, and he's going to. But in the back of my head, there's a little mini me back there. Yeah, but imagine Clayton Kershaw, after winning the World Series, pitching really well, gets to pitch against the team that is notoriously known for lighting him up and shut them down and eliminate them. Just imagine.
I mean, yeah, it would be fun in fairy tale land.
Exactly. That's what this is. This is fairy tale land.
Yeah. All right. It's a good place to wrap up with fairy tale land. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Talked Padres looking miserable, that whole shit show. Then we have Dodgers versus Diamondbacks, Zach Gallen. We previewed the wild card a little bit. Edward came up with one of the weirdest fantasies, and it's just a dumb fantasy, if I may say.
Not a dumb fantasy. Stop it.
Yeah. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you would like to follow myself on social media, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MattWiner20. If you'd like to follow Edward on his social media, you can find him on Instagram and Twitter at Edward_Vento. But if you have no care in the world for anything we have to say, any of our outlandish fairy tales, then you can follow OK Takes on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at OK Takes Pod. That is OKAY Takes Pod. OKAY Takes Pod. It takes 1 second, would help us tremendously. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and have a wonderful day.